10 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Welcome everybody to some more coverage from the Manila Major Madness Hub. I'm God, streaming as Nahaz. Never get to cast together before.
Yeah, it's our first time, and it is going to be absolute chaos. Madness is the order of the day. You look at the two teams that we've got here. One of them, 19 different heroes in their last 4 games. One of them, 23 different heroes in their last 5.
So potential for all kinds of crazy picks. It's a new
Absolutely.
patch as well, and we're seeing lots of different stuff develop throughout. So I'm getting word from producer. What's up? Oh, got the stream up behind me. Do I? No.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I got OC Remix on.
Production value?
Fixed.
Saved.
I was wondering why I was hearing all this music. I was
Right.
like, okay. Producer said not to worry if you hear music in the background. Turns out it was my music in the background, so fix that. Anyways, we've got DC versus Infamous. Once Brian gets back to the production room, now that he's done yelling at me, we'll get into the draft. You guys can see what's happening. We're still in the first couple of bands.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff so far. I mean, the Mirana Alchemist band, those are 2 heroes that have been valued pretty highly by these NA teams. Obviously we've already had the Mirana Ags discussion. We'll get into it if it gets relevant later on. And the Bounty Hunter pick, of course. That the one thing apart from the hero variety that we brought up, we have Infamous. I believe it's 19 different heroes in their last 4 games. Digital Chaos. If you go back, the 2 games they played in this qualifier, and then the 3 games that they played against Shazam, 23 different heroes in their last 5. It's not just the hero variety, but it's the individual game flow has really kind of defied what we expected when we're looking at these drafts.
Yeah, I think just the fact that heroes like Alchemist became such a top priority as well, to me, it very much kind of came out of nowhere for a little bit. Like, the hero did not really receive any major direct buffs, but outside the armlet, which was indirect, but kind of got taken away a bit with the B patch, so...
Do you like this hero? I actually really like the first phase Slardar as a response to the Doom. I mean, to me, it addresses so much of what the Doom is trying to do. The amp damage, the ability to initiate into him, the fact that Slardar is a little bit less afraid of the roam early on.
I like the first pick from both teams. I think I don't look at it quite as much as Slardar is like a counter pick to the Doom, because I think it actually functions both ways, where Slardar is actually one of the top Doom targets, and if you get the Doom off, if you blink in, you miss your crush, or even if you do him after that first crush, part of the beauty of Slardar is that with that armlet and in that safe lane position, you generally stay alive in the fight a long time to get 2, 3, 4 crushes off, because it's an 8-second cooldown. So as a result, the hero is one of the top kind of Doom candidates, and that's something which I'm sure Infamous will be kind of wary of. So I think it can work both ways, but Slardar as the first pick is kind of what we're seeing a lot of now.
Yeah, I also like it with their particular roster, because obviously you've got Resolution that for a long time with Empire was obviously comfortable switching back and forth between mid and safe lane. You've got Mu that plays a very, very strong offlane Slardar, so I think they have a lot of options going into this. Infamous is going to take a hero that Digital Chaos played pretty well in the last series in the Winter Wyvern. All of a sudden, apparently in NA, this hero is back to a first phase.
Yeah, and the new patch, a big reason for that. It seems there's much bigger emphasis on physical damage, having tanky core heroes, the Slardars, the Dooms, all these things very popular, and less teams are picking up those bursty magic heroes. There's no more Invokers, there's no more Zeuses, so Winter Wyvern suddenly gets that much better just because of the nature of most of these drafts. And we've seen these Slardars, these CKs, whatever else, all the other stuff, like the, what was the pick, the axes and stuff.
Yeah.
Winter Wyvern really good against these kind of core heroes. Beastmaster as well, not picked up just yet, but it's a deterrent to pick Beastmaster when you see that Winter Wyvern.
Right. Also gives you a bit of high ground insurance policy too. It's a awkward hero, can be an awkward hero to engage into.
Yeah. So we'll see bands come out. Chaos Knight.
Yeah.
He's seen a bit of a resurgence on the new patch.
Well, that's one thing that the other thing that you've noticed in these games so far, as a reflection of the variety of heroes picked, the second phase bans have just been completely all over the map. You get the sense that a lot of these teams have been scrimming against each other.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the last game, we had the second stage Husker ban.
Right.
I'm just like, well, okay, these teams obviously know something about each other that I do not and have not seen.
Yeah. And that confirms it, by the way. That was the Death Prophet was the only hero in their last 4 games that Infamous had picked twice.
Okay. So we don't want to see any more of that Death Prophet fella. But what's going on here? We'll quickly fix some of these things. I might be just being muted in... do we have any Dota 2 sounds? check the volume, it's here. Hold on. There we go.
Reserve time.
Alright, we're back.
Okay. Back, you didn't miss anything. We're still looking at that tail end of the second phase bans for Infamous. And I think that's the other side of the coin is Digital Chaos a very difficult team to ban against right now. You have no tape on them.
Absolutely, and as much as they were probably scrimming on the new patch, they're probably avoiding scrimming other qualifier teams to some extent. If anything, they're one of the teams that will maybe get to play against, like scrim with EG, for example.
Right.
Like for EG, it's like, sure, why not? This is a good opponent for us to practice a new patch on. For DC, it's like, let's not reveal anything against teams in that group or teams in this qualifier in general.
Yeah, we went into this earlier, and you're not sold necessarily on this new Digital Chaos roster. I'm actually pretty optimistic here.
I mean, I'm not sold on them in the fact, like, I could see them winning this qualifier just because of they are one of the top 2, top 3 teams in this qualifier without a doubt. Whether they're better than Shazam is a big question mark, but I'm not sold on how they'll do at I definitely am not sold on how they'll do at a top international level just because their draft was just kind of put together last minute. Sorry, their team. But there's still, like, you look at the players on this team, there's still there's so much talent, so much skill. There's a really good chance they win the Americas.
It just reminds me a lot of Secret's roster in the immediate aftermath of last year's TI, where you have a good mix of young up-and-coming talent in Saxka and in Mu, and you've got that veteran presence in Misery, obviously, and then 2 players that, they're on the younger side, but they're already established in the scene in Resolution and Wii. I do like the Nature's Prophet a lot. I think this is a hero that they can definitely run in 3 positions. I mean, we saw Empire run their 1 position Nature's Prophet in the jungle at the start of the game last night. So this is just a tremendously flexible hero in this patch.
Yep. And it's one of Moo's best heroes too,
exactly.
I'd say. So combos well with the Slider, just there's tons of mobility coming out. You look at Slider around that 12 to 15 minute stage, he gets his armlet plus Blink online, Prophet can be farming the map, TP anywhere. You've just got great kind of options for the early game, the mid game as well, and then these heroes even transition well late game now with the new armlet heart build on Slider. Prophet has always kind of scaled well into the late game, so we'll see what Infamous kind of can do to respond to this. Where teams have had the most success seems to be pressuring Slider in lane. Not enough teams seem to be willing to go like a dual lane, tri-lane aggro against this hero. Yeah,
we talked about that a couple of times on the panel, that such a huge part of the value from that safe lane Slider is just getting the early armlet blink up. I mean, especially in this patch, you let that Slider get those 2 items up by 15 minutes and he can just wreak terror on the map.
So Infamous Queen of Pain. I like this because you've got a spell you've got a couple of spells now that are good against the armlet toggle. You've got the Shadow Strike, you've got the Arctic Burn, you've got Doom with Scorched Earth, as well as Infernal Blade. So this is not going to be an easy game for Slider to play kind of aggressively with that armlet. Doom, of course, great when if he ever has his armlet on, you manage to doom him. So you've got good ways of at least keeping Slider down with these heroes. But...
Yeah, and you've got the Wyvern to kind of protect her in lane, because you worry that with the Nature's Prophet TPing in, all of a sudden Quap is not necessarily safe blinking backward anymore. The IO is an interesting pick here. It's certainly a risk. I mean, this is a hero that when you feel like you're better than the other team, it's no accident this hero had the highest win rate in the open qualifiers, over 70%. When you feel like you are a better team, this is a hero that you can just seriously punish bad decision making with. But it is a risk in terms of, I guess a little bit less so with Tomes of Knowledge now, but this hero takes too long to get its level 6 and loses a lot of its value.
Yeah, so we'll see what the plan is to lane with the IO. I don't think you need... the Slider in itself is enough of a partner. The Slider can get a lot of the bottom lane. We've seen Na'Vi just send like a Queen of Pain mid with an IO. In this case, could just... Well, Queen of Pain obviously not an option, but if it's a Puck or a Wind Ranger, just having that IO there to turn it into a 2v1 lane to make sure your mid can kind of have the edge, the advantage over the Quap can go a long way, so... The pick definitely makes sense here, giving a ton of sustain to DC. Against Doom, you can save someone as well with the relocate out. You've got the Witch Doctor heal, you've got the IO with the Tether overcharge, so not going to be easy for Infamous to find kills on the core heroes of DC.
Yeah, so we're looking for that kind of... I guess you made this point earlier that the Slardar is a decent Wisp partner. I still think you want another Wisp partner here for Digital Chaos. I think the Tiny... I would love to see Resolution Tiny again. He's one of the better Tiny players out there in patches gone by.
You don't think... I imagine he's playing the Slardar because of he's playing safe lane for the team with Weeha mid?
Yeah. I still don't mind the Tiny... I still don't don't mind the tiny mid here, honestly.
Yeah.
I think you could put Slaughter safe lane with the Witch Doctor.
5 seconds remaining.
I just like the Navi style where you have like a Wind Ranger IO or Quap IO.
Yeah.
Just because Infamous themselves will be dual laning mid. Like the Winter Wyvern likely to spend a lot of time in that mid lane. They'll ban out the
And
Wind
they're
Ranger.
thinking that direction.
Yeah.
I agree.
The IO Slaughter aren't going to be like a partner in lane. That's more come mid game. When Slaughter is going to be getting doomed all the time, IO is going to be there to save him or at least back him up when he goes aggressive with the blink and turn his armlet on.
Now you are still picking IO into a Wyvern, which is a little bit scary. I mean that was sort of the classic Winter Wyvern combo back when the hero was ridiculously OP. Had like a 65% win rate against Wyvern. Other way around. Wyvern had like a 65% win rate against Wisp. And this is, man, I don't, boy. Ooh. It feels like they really changed their draft concept with this 5th pick Chen.
Yeah, it kind of, for the Winter Wyvern especially, it's like no longer this hero that can help out the mid lane that much because you've got this Slark who doesn't really want to be left solo against the Nature's Prophet. So we'll see Winter Wyvern under a ton of pressure to help out both mid lane and the top lane now.
Yeah. And this is now definitely going to be an off-lane Doom. So again, his roaming presence is maybe a little bit taken back from sort of the greedy jungling Doom that we've been seeing rotating around the map with Infernal Blade lately.
Yeah. So with Wind Ranger bans,
and they're gonna
that's
it's just
exactly
it's so safe. I mean, it's just such a stable pick in this situation.
Yeah, it doesn't pressure the mid lane as much. Like the Wind Ranger's there, like you can actually harass and try and beat down the Quap, but the IODK is just like, let's have this tanky hero who can't really be ganked by a Chen, and give Infamous very few kind of early game options to get ahead.
Yeah, interesting to me. This is another thing that I wondered about with DC going forward is how tight, how dedicated they were going to be in their roles. Because Resolution back in the day played one of the better Dragon Knights in EU, but this tells me they are pretty dedicated to having Wii in that mid position with Resolution most of the time in the safe lane.
DK also a pretty straightforward hero, I'd say, as far as.
Oh.
Well, no, this isn't even a flame. This is just more like the hero is easy. Anyone can play DK.
Sure.
I don't think there's a mid player out there who I would say has a bad DK. I could not. Like the hero is just that straightforward to play in a lot of ways. If you're a good mid player, you're a good DK player. Is how I see it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's hard to
particularly
dispute
because
that
he's
point.
like a melee mid hero who just spams his nuke to farm. It's not like there's a lot more mechanics involved with playing like a Quap or a Puck or a Wind Ranger mid. You've got to be able to land like certain skill shots, for example. With DK, it's very straightforward. It's the hero comes down to decision making and like your team fight execution to the extent it's just all about whether you decide to rotate, push towers, and all that. There's not like much mechanics to the hero.
We're not talking about Wraith King here. I mean, come on.
It's pretty close, I'd say. It's not quite Wraith King level, but
you do have like a whole 3 active abilities. I mean, come on.
Wraith King is he gets a lot of slack, but
I think Wraith King is gonna be really good this patch.
Yep, he seems solid. So DC now looking like they want to get into the Chen's jungle to put down some wards.
Okay, nice.
That's a poor man's DK for you. You don't really want to go on him, and they get all the way deep into this jungle. The level 1 fight of Infamous, pretty lackluster. Quap doesn't want to.
I love that Greedy's literally just standing there in the ready jungle. Hey guys.
Yep. So this ward here, I can only imagine blocks the camp. And Resolution Slaughter, so they'll get back. They've put down the lane ward at the mid lane. They've blocked out one of Chen's big camps. This is kind of inconsequential to me because there's so many other options for Chen as far as camps go. Like, unless you're going to full commit to block up the big camp by the secret shop, I don't like that they committed an observer ward to this camp.
Oh, I think warding camps with observers now is just so risky, period.
Yeah. Oh, the gold bounty you get for everything. So Chen has sentries already. This to me is a bit of a waste of a ward.
What do you think of this mid lane ward though? I actually kind of like this.
Yeah, it's great.
Rotating in on the Quap.
Just having high ground vision in mid is always a big advantage to have. It's one of the most imperative wards to D-wards are those high ground wards. So I talked about making sure that Chen gets no camps. Witch Doctor actually just goes and body blocks this big camp, so that also takes it away from the Doom. So Chen will have no camp. Doom will have no camp. Turns out maybe the warding was
Doom has no
right
creep right now.
Yeah, he checked the camp which Witch Doctor blocked, and this camp down here has been blocked as well. So fun times for the infamous junglers.
Yeah, and that's actually a pretty big win for Chen early game.
It's actually the Doom's ward who blocked. He blocked out.
He blocked his own camp.
Himself, which is not. It's like a kind of trade-off. You want to sometimes do this just to prevent the DC side taking advantage of the pulls. But Saxka just double stacks and makes up for that in other ways.
Yeah, and look how much Mu is going to be able to get in the top lane here. I mean, he just feels completely safe because he knows that the Doom really can't get anything done right now. You know, Chen is just forced to roam around here by the secret shop.
Yeah. Oh, at least he found a camp. Jeez, he gets his first creep 1.5 minutes into the game.
Oof.
That's brutal. He did stack once. Yeah, he stacked a medium camp, so he can provide himself / Queen of Pain some catch-up farm. But this is a very slow start for the Chen and the Doom, who used to devour on a lane creep, it looks like. I mean, this just the laning stage. 2 minutes in this lane stage, I'm like heavily like, man, DC is getting way more out of the lanes.
Yeah, this has to be an absolute best-case scenario for them.
So what do you think Infamous can do? Like, are you just gonna make the best out of this bad laning stage? Like, do you see any immediate corrections they can try and make?
Chen just got his level 2. It's going to be really hard for him to set up a rotation, especially considering that his cores in lane are not doing that well.
Yeah, it has a smoke, but like, are you realistically ganking the mid lane? Okay, so he said his creep mid. I guess this is the first...
That too is really telling that, you know, ordinarily when you're a Chen, or especially an Enchantress, obviously, when you get that Satyr creep early on, you're trying to actually be aggressive, but he's sending the Satyr mid just to try and protect the Quap from a gank. Or not even a gank, he's just trying to protect the Quap from the dual lane.
Yeah, just trying to get Quap farm right now. Quap staying on 5 CS, DK with 13 and some, so... I mean, they just go in the Quap, they force Quap to continually shoot through regen. Still a couple hundred gold short of a bottle, and Sora's not having much fun. There's no lane going... Okay, so Doom's level 3, that's going okay.
Yeah, he's getting XP now.
But you expect this when you're an offlaner versus a dual lane. And as I say that, they're actually going to go on him looking for a kill. The cast won't be thrown. If he hit the cast bouncing, could have been close with the second crush, but Doom actually has level 2 Scorch and the Stout Shield.
But remember, they make him blow that Scorch, so he has to be a little bit more careful now.
So Chen replaced his creep with a Mud Golem. He's rotating in towards mid lane, offering a bit of harass, but this is just so bad for this Chen start. Like, you start with a Satyr, he's already... for a second I'm like, oh, he got a Mud Golem with his level 3 creep, that's great, but no, this is still his one and only creep. The Satyr, I guess he chewed through the entire mana pool with Shockwaves at mid, but you don't care about Shockwaves mid if you're an IO +1, because you've just got that shed regen between the bottle passing.
And that's the other reason that I really like the position of that initial mid lane ward from Radiant, is just spots the rotations of the Chen with such high probability.
Dude, look at top. Mu is like wrecking this lane.
Yeah, that's the first thing I said when I saw that lane.
He's harassed them both so heavily. He gets ganked now by the Mud Golems, but here's Misery to help heal him up, and can almost turn this one around with Phase Boots. He does a lot of right-click damage. Yeah, he's diving for it, but won't get
they're going to get at least one kill.
They'll get the Wyvern instead. If he turns sooner, he gets perhaps the Slack as well, but even so, it's still a great result for DC.
Yeah, he had mana for Sprout there.
Yeah, there was a Quelling Blade for Slack, so probably that doesn't work, but DC...
Oh, they might get the Doom, yeah. Wow.
And something really nice with Mu TPing back in top, he refills the bottle for Misery, so suddenly there's another full bottle up top, and Slack...
How is that not fixed yet? Really?
Hey, interesting mechanics. Or, I don't know about interesting, but...
It's just,
mechanics.
I don't know, it's one of those things that, you can't hate on it too much, but it still feels like an exploit to me.
It's been in for so long now. It's kind of like Punch Hooks were in for so long, but eventually they get taken out.
Right.
Misery needs a tether escape target. He gets tethers to the creep here, I believe. Doesn't really have a good escape plan. Tower will, he's going to TP. Misery's actually likely going to live this one if he just TPs from the trees.
They still got the Centaur after him, but they chose what he guesses wrong with the Centaur.
A Centaur is stunned on cooldown anyways, but Mu now sprouted up, TP out, not going to make it home. Katara securing that kill.
Okay, well that's the higher value kill, obviously.
Absolutely.
Now that was actually that was like the first thing that's gone right in the game, really, for Infamous. I think they had to have something like that.
Another gank on bottom lane with a Maledict here, the caster follow-up resolution. We'll have to wait for another stun, I believe, to get this kill, but with the stun, should be able to get it. Level 3 Crush, and the Bash. So his armlet timing going to be looking very good. He's top of the CS, now has a kill as well. And they TP Moo down bottom, just deciding that top lane is a bit of a lost cause.
Can you even get anything out of this haste rune with Quap?
Level 6 coming soon, but he doesn't have much mana, so probably not.
Yeah. Moo gonna go ahead and head back top. You know, bottom situation obviously well in hand. So yeah, that's really the question we have to ask right now. What's your next real objective here as Infamous? I mean, you got the one rebuttal kill on Moo top that sort of put a band-aid on the bleeding. But I think you need a big rotation from your Quap here with this haste.
Yeah,
she just hit 6, hadn't skilled Sonic Wave yet.
Quap perhaps rotating bottom when Doom hits 6 could be a kill in the Slatter is like the dream scenario. Slow down his item timings more than anything would hurt DC, but
they really need this haste rune Quap.
And yeah, there we go. Yeah, he comes bottom lane, doesn't find anything though, so it's wasted time. And
that's
high
so
ground
rough.
ward at the tier 1 tower. That's just one of those things well placed, and smoke was not scouted. Doom actually gonna come mid now with. It's the Doom plus Quap are the two kind of heroes that can combo up to secure kills right now.
Yeah, Doom also with the fresh level 6, so this is definitely a window for them. But again,
they're gonna need a Sonic Wave commitment, they'll get it. So even with the IO Tether overcharge, not a kill cast with Maledict, they're gonna lose Queen of Pain and Saxka on the back 14.
Oh, they're gonna get.
Oh my god.
Goodness.
DC could just clean up here. Greedy low to the Maledict. Nope.
Oh.
Well, they got the DK, but they lost a lot.
That's that 1-1-2 build on Witch Doctor, and no deny for you, buddy.
It's good seeing Witch Doctors go back for the Maledict these days. Like, there was a long period where like, it was just pure cast voodoo restoration, but...
Well, it's all the, I mean, it really is all the cast range, right? Can you get in range to cast that spell without dying? At least that's me in my pubs.
Yeah. And in these, like, we're seeing, as of late, much more dual lanes in the safe lane, where offlaners are getting a ton out of the lane, whether it's your Dooms, your Faceless Voids. So having Witch Doctor with 2 points to Maledict makes a big difference. Kataro trying to rush a Midas, has the money for it now, but not easy to get to the side shop as Moose back up top, phase boots, Bracer, he's looking for a fast drums likely. Yeah, I don't think there's any easy corrections for Infamous to make right now, other than try and fight around their big ultimates, the Doom and the Sonic Wave.
Did he Midas a melee creep? No, you Midas the range creep. XP.
Yeah, he may have. I didn't actually see which one he clicked on, but
that's actually, I mean, that is actually a not negligible buff to Midas. By the way, the ability to Midas the range creep now.
Oh, totally, yeah. Ooh, first relocate gank coming in up top. Kataro, he's going to pounce to the low ground where, Nature's Prophet Ultimate will secure the kill.
He's
Maledict pops. Really nicely played with the relocate and Witch Doctor covering the pounce escape, and they're not done. Nature's Prophet, Moo still nearby, looking to protect the relocate back, and Misery tethers to the high ground where Chen Creep is still waiting. Queen of Pain may be able to secure this with a Scream, but the Sprout block is there as well. Misery.
What a play.
We'll get another Chen. So.
That's totally fine, though. They've almost got this tier 1 tower up here, so they got a kill on the Slark, and they're going to get a tier 1 top tower for only giving up the Wisp. Totally a trade that DC's happy with.
Oh, DK going Armlet as well, so double Armlets. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Both heroes benefit a lot from the items, so...
Oh, yeah, double armlet? Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm surprised that we haven't seen more of that.
I mean, for someone like a Dragon Knight, you get like an armlet, and then, to me, I think more teams and DK players should be getting like hood on this hero, because you have so much armor and sustain from the armor with just like a casual hood.
Totally
You're almost
agree.
unkillable. I mean, just blocking like the Slark nuke damage, the Quap, Doom with like Infernal Blade, there's plenty to justify it.
So we do have a smoke rotation coming in here bottom. Doom and Sonic Wave both up. They may double back and try and get the DK. They know that he's alone. They've seen the Wisp.
Yep.
Oh, and he pops the haste rune. Oh boy. Wait, did he have haste there?
He had it. I think it just expired.
It was at the
He had
tail end.
already,
The tail
yeah,
end of it.
the tail end
Okay.
I saw the haste and then I clicked him again. I'm like, wait, where'd haste go? So it just expires, and Infamous like
That's
trying to find
such
these
bad
smoke
luck for
pickoffs.
them.
Can't get too much out of it. They're getting. I mean, yeah. I just opened the net worth tab and it's ugly. 4 of the top 5 all on the DC side. They're getting so much more out of the map. They're taking towers now. Blink Dagger isn't even up on resolution, and they're finding all these objectives, so that's really a huge worry. And you've got this DK who can punish so much by just taking towers with his Elder Dragon form. All 3 tier 1s already down.
And Chen's got his mech, but like, are you really going to be able to mount a push at this point? I mean, you're the ones getting pushed in on.
Yeah. It felt like their response to having that bad early game lane stage was just try and farm their way back into the game just by using the jungle. Like Chen, instead of trying to gank, was just sitting in the jungle, farming away, and as a result, while they were playing passively, DC just took tons of objectives. Saxon will tank a 4-man smoke gank, that's like totally okay again.
Exactly.
Unless you get a tower off of this, Infamous aren't really getting anything. Doom is used, but you can relocate him back to safety. You don't even have to use relocate. Infamous just fishing at this point, and they have not got the right bait.
I mean, look at that. He's almost out regenning the Doom. with the +7 HP regen from Armlet and then the 2 points in Dragon Blood.
Yep. DC are just cruise control. They've got resolution with the Blink Dagger, so he'll be ready to fight. It's crazy because DC have, like, they don't even have to do anything. They can keep farming and they're doing fine. They can group up and push and it's probably going to work. Like, they have so many ways to approach this game right now.
Yeah. So where are you on drums first on NP? Because that item, it just felt like that's a substantial nerf, but I'm still seeing Profits rush it after phase.
I just like it for the active charges in those early game team fights. You just benefit your team a whole lot. Being able to just, even if you just chew through the charges really quickly.
Oh, Slark's dead.
Nicely played. That was mostly just some deduction there, figuring out where he was. They didn't actually have vision of that area. They had wards near. Oh no, this Radiant ward, it looks like gives. Oh yeah, they've got the high ground cliff ward, so yeah, they did see him. I forgot about this new cliff. It's a nice little cliff. Another blink crush.
Boy.
They're just going from kill to kill here. The cast will even get the bounce on the Wyvern, who doesn't get the curse off as a result. Oh boy.
Well, you got the curse off, but
Misery still alive even. He's got bottle charges, he's got Urn, he's got the Witch Doctor heal as well. This is getting ugly.
Catastrophe
Greedy
mode
getting
right now.
dived to his tier 3 tower, 13 minutes in, 4 dead, that's a team wipe. With the Slark now respawning, possibly going to just die once more. Goes into Shadow Dance, gets stunned inside it. This is like a 6-0. This is, is it too soon to say this is over?
This is it is officially out of control. And that's the problem with their lineup. It's a lineup that, yeah, I guess there's some merit to what you're saying about trying to farm your way back in it, but this is not really, you're gonna be hemorrhaging map control at that point. Yep. And you've got at least one hero in a Chen that loses so much of his value if you're not dictating tempo yourself.
It seems like having the Wyvern as that solo laning support doesn't work. I think you can have a 5-position Wyvern if you have another laning support at least, because you want Wyvern to be able to help out the mid lane.
Right. That's one support that I think if you're going to run it as a hard 5, so much of its value is built around the idea that it's going to be spending some time mid.
Well, options for Infamous getting very limited.
Yeah. Do they have any big items coming out? No, I mean, Quap is sort of in full comeback mode. Slark's got his Midas and nothing else. Yeah,
he just picked up like Tread's Aquila just to get some cheap, cost-effective items. Yeah, Quap is not going to have an item anytime soon. This Orchid Dream is a long ways off. The thing is, you get these items by winning a team fight because of that comeback gold. So if you somehow take a fight where you have like a 5v3 scenario, you get a couple of kills, that's where you're going to finish these items. So I really don't think, you don't have, I mean, it's not just this patch, it's been like 3 or 4 patches now. If you get far behind in the early game, you come back into the game by fighting, not by farming. And that's where I don't like that Infamous's response to the bad early game lane stage was to just have the Chen sit in the jungle, farm up a mech.
Agreed. And you're now in that situation where, okay, Quap is barely lives.
Amp damage is there, though. I don't even know if she's gonna live. Level 2 blink. Oh, crush on this.
Doesn't matter. Now, you're in this situation where if you look at the net worth on the DC, because so much of their gold is coming from towers at this point, they don't necessarily have the one high-value kill. They don't have that one hero that's way out in front, so if you kill him, you get just a bag of gold just for that one kill.
They managed to try and limit DC's vision, but some slightly different wards in lanes have gone unnoticed as the sentries are in more of the common expected spots. All 3 DC wards actually unwarded right now.
Yeah, that's one thing. Definitely watching teams that the sort of optimal ward spots have clearly not been figured out yet. It's pretty obvious when you look at the newness of the patch period, but the fact that it is surprising me that how many of these. I assumed that this dire ward jungle position would be the new Roche Pit Spire where it gets dewarded instantly every time. But I guess they have so much map control that can't get down there safely.
It's always this weird metagame that develops too. Like once you know a team with their preferred ward spots, you kind of figure them out. There's also always if you're in a position where you can get a ward off unnoticed, like this one behind the tier 1 mid tower is he probably tucked himself in the trees in fog and then plants the ward from fog. So it's all about what opportunities present themselves in
interesting scan.
Game. That was a dire scan or a radiant scan?
I can't tell based on.
It was a radiant scan based on the cooldown.
Oh, the cooldowns. Okay.
I don't know if there's a way to tell based on interface. New patch where casters trying to figure it out too.
Yep.
So Misery building a mech, and I don't see what Infamous can do. I'm trying to put it through my head. How do you approach a fight if you're Infamous to even just kill off a core here on the front lines who's out of position? If someone's out of position, Misery bails them out every single time.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. I'm okay, so you doom someone, the Quap tries to blow them up, but the burst damage from Quap is decent, but that's not going to be enough on its own to kill off Slaughter or DK. They're both tanky enough that they should survive until the relocate is there to bail them out.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think they can contest this Roach. I think your best hope is just a 4-man Winner's Curse defending high ground right now.
Yes. Yeah, Winner's Curse. Use DC's farm against them.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's going to be probably BKBs, at least for Weeha. I guess Resolution has the option to go for Heart instead of BKB if he wants. And immediate smoke up after the Roche. Okay, they've caught Wild. Oh, he blinked into the crowd!
No!
That was so unfortunate. Resolution actually, he didn't realize the two heroes were on the high ground and Quap blinked into his teammate.
That was like a double blind crush. That's insane. That really is bad luck, period.
I think he maybe caught vision of the Wyvern, and the thing is the Quap, I guess, saw him, but he didn't see the Quap, because he went for the Wyvern, not the Queen of Pain who was on the high ground, and that's probably going to be a lane of Rax now with Aegis in hand.
Yeah, so that big team fight on your steps you were hoping for as a punish. Oops.
Yeah. No Wyvern alive for it, and I think this is probably the GG push. I don't think if you're DC you even bother backing off. You can go for another lane there, pinging bottom lane with the creep wave. They're even just splitting up, sending two heroes down to their push. They're so far ahead right now. Misery's just going to sit back. Any initiation from Infamous is like a 5-man, let's all, as 5, jump this one hero, and that's where Misery just comes in with Relocate, so. They'll TP Prophet top, but that's very much a temporary thing with him able to TP back in 15 seconds.
And this is a very, very clean disengage from DC. The Slark got his Shadow Blade, was hoping to come back and pick a couple people off on the way home. Nothing's going to come of it.
Yep, Slaughter gets far enough away. He's Aegis, Reaver. Yeah, everything you can.
Reaver, okay.
Yeah. I like the Heart over the BKB.
Oh, I know, I like it. I'm just saying, hello Resolution, you're ahead.
Yeah. I think even Weeha could have benefited from a Heart over a BKB, but...
Oh, your Slark is not even necessarily going to get the kill on the Wisp. Yikes.
Sad days.
That's the reveal of the Shadow Blade, and DK finishes his BKB. So it's just really hard game. Nothing else to say. No, they haven't gotten any value out of the Doom pick, and I mean Doom is the most picked and banned hero so far in the qualifiers by a long way. I think he's at 67. The next closest hero is at 57, but you just didn't feel any of his impact. He was really limited by that 2 points in Maledict build of the Witch Doctor early on.
Nope. Found the Queen of Pain. Slaughter looking for the solo kill. He may
not
still get
like
it.
this.
3 points in Blink, not enough. He wishes he had level 4.
Oh.
He did that blind, I'm pretty sure. He didn't have... Unless the ward... I didn't see a ward there. Maybe the lane ward expired, because there was that lane ward in bottom lane earlier. But...
I was thinking, I thought they had vision in that area.
Yeah, it was the lane ward just sitting in bottom lane, at least earlier on, so... Perhaps it just expired, because it looked like a blind blade crush in hindsight. You get a high ground ward, and everything's good to go now with the DK ultimate back up, and the BKB. Seems to be what they're waiting for to go for a second lane of Rax.
And look at okay, your Wisp is chasing their Slark. That just happened.
Yeah, it's gonna regen rune, so he's
Oh my
actually
God.
totally okay to just straight hits a little bit here. I don't think there's actually...
No.
This is 0% chance. 0.01 with that, 0.1 being like a 5-man DC. Well, the Doom comes out onto Weehab, but he's being healed back up. There's a relocate if he needs it, but it looks like they're trying to just hold on to that one for now. Okay, with the mech tether, gets him a double heal, and it's Katara in the trees going down. Time to tap out, Infamous.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is go next. Maybe take a little time in the fountain to talk about your strats. Yeah, I was trying to find a way to come back a minute ago there because, obviously we've had the second largest comeback ever in Pro Dota 2 today in the same region, but yeah, that was just such a bad position for Infamous after that early game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what more they could have really got done. The camps being blocked ended up making a big difference.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
Doom went to one camp, Chen went to the other, and it's weird because typically, like, you scout the other team 5-man into your jungle, so your move should be to, like, that camp's been blocked. You know the camp over by the secret shop hasn't been blocked. They should have protected it, because Witch Doctor didn't even ward it. He just walked up
body blocked
and
it.
body blocked it.
And that's your 8K player right there. That's why I really do think Saxga